Okay guys, welcome back. In the previous video, we finished by introducing the concept of the TOEFL test. We know that this test is particularly used if you are planning to go and study overseas, right? It's a very academic-oriented test. So we're going to continue talking about TOEFL right now. Now, we know that TOEFL has undergone different versions. Okay, so basically we have three big versions of TOEFL. We have the PVT version, which is the paper-based test. It is the older version of the test, and it focuses on receptive skills. The TOEFL PVT sits you down, you listen to something, and then you respond to those questions that are asked in the listening track. Now, you also read something, and then you just write your answers to those reading comprehension questions or to those grammar or vocabulary questions. So it's very receptive. In other words, you don't speak. You could write. There's a part in the TOEFL PVT that is about writing. It's called the TWE, if I remember correctly, test of written expression, in which you write 2 essays, I think. I don't remember if it's 1 or if it's 2. Now, we also had the TOEFL CVT, a computer-based test, which was pretty similar to TOEFL PVT, but it included some questions that were facilitated by the use of the technology at the time. So, but it was pretty similar to the TOEFL PVT. Why did it disappear? Well, internet killed it. Okay, so very soon after CVT appeared, TOEFL IBT appeared. TOEFL internet-based test. And it's the most recent of all the versions of TOEFL, and it tests both your receptive skills and also your active skills. Okay, so in this test, you no longer just listen to something, read something, and answer. No, in this test, you listen to something, you read something, yes, you respond to questions based only on passive skills, but also you need to speak. You also need to write. So yeah, this test is a little bit more challenging, taking into consideration that this time you need to produce language, right? You know, it's easier to understand a language than to actually speak it, right? I think this has happened to every one of us, and we must have friends who could tell us this. I understand English, but speaking is difficult for me. Yeah, then you don't know English, dude. I'm sorry, but then you don't know English. The thing is, to know English is to be able to use it to communicate, right? To use any language requires that you speak it and that you write it, okay? So sometimes it happens that, take for example, Italian. If I listen to something in Italian, I can understand what they are saying. Does it mean that I speak Italian? No, it does not. I may know a word or two, but I don't speak Italian, right? So that's the difficult part on TOEFL IBT, that it's really more challenging, that it's actually testing active skills. The TOEFL PVT takes 2 hours, and it focuses on listening and reading, as I told you. There's an essay section, again, the TWE, that rarely occurs in our country, and it's a multiple choice test. Usually you are given 4 choices of 4 response choices. In the TOEFL PVT, the listening section lasts about 40 minutes, and the reading section lasts about the double, about 80 minutes. And there are 150 items in general. That is 100 items for reading and 50 for listening. The reading section focuses on structure and reading comprehension. Structure is grammar, and reading comprehension, well, it's reading comprehension, right? The listening focuses on short talks, academic conversation, academic conversations, and I wrote short talks, but it's not short talks. It's short academic talks or something like that. But anyway, so the listening section begins with a very basic conversation between two students or a student and a teacher, and it's a very commonplace occurrence. Okay, the academic conversation, you have a teacher and a student and talking about a subject. They are more challenging interactions, they require more attention on your side. And then the short academic talks, which is basically a teacher giving class for a couple of minutes, and then there's all this information that is being poured out to you. And the challenging thing is that at the beginning we go like, okay, I understand what he's saying. Yes, I understand this. Yes, he's giving me this date. I remember that. But when the person doesn't stop talking, then it gets a little more complicated, because you go, okay, I already forgot what he had said before. Now I'm in trouble. So that's a problem. Sometimes that we need to improve our short-term memory, right? So we need to work on that. On the other hand, the TOEFL IBT is an integrated skill test. It means that you need to integrate passive and active skills. In other words, you listen and read something, and then you give your output, either by speaking or writing. But not only like that, okay? I told you, sometimes you listen and you respond, you read and you respond, but also you are asked to read to some excerpt of X material, and you also listen to something related to the material, possibly in opposition, so that you can make a contrast, or you can establish similarities, or you can complement information. So you get these two pieces of input, and then you need to get it in here, process this information, and then provide your output, either to speak what you think about what you listened and read, or to write about it. This ensures the measurement of productive capabilities. You know, that you are actually able to speak in the language, to write in the language. This new version, the TOEFL IBT, which is being made here in El Salvador, is it's 4 sections long. It lasts about 3 hours. The reading is 60 minutes to 80 minutes. The listening is 1 hour to 1.5 hours. And the speaking section is about 20 minutes. And then the writing section is about 50 minutes, almost an hour, right? Those are the sections on this test. It's longer, of course. It takes about 3 hours. It's more challenging because it's a little more tiresome, of course. It's an extra hour. And this test, in the reading section, you will find from 36 to 56 questions. In the listening sections, from 34 to 51. The speaking section gives you 6 tasks, 6 different activities you are going to perform when you are where you are going to speak. Not all of them are integrated, only some of them. And then the writing section provides you with 2 tasks. Now, let's talk about TOEIC. The test of English for International Communication has 2 versions too. Just like TOEFL, it has one that focuses on passive skills and one that focuses also on active skills. The one that is being applied in El Salvador is the one that focuses on passive skills. This test is used particularly to test communicational skills in the workplace, not for academic settings. But sometimes some academic institutions, to go and study overseas, they accept also TOEIC grades, which is fine. The TOEIC test is divided in 2 sections, the listening and the reading section. Both sections have 100 different difficulties, and the listening section lasts 40 minutes. Actually, it's like 45 minutes. Yeah, it's 45 minutes. And the reading section lasts about 80 minutes. Yeah, something about that. So At the end, the exam takes 2 hours. 2 hours to actually do the test. The actual process of submitting to this evaluation takes longer than that because you need to fill out some personal information in the test as well. Passing the tests. Everybody says, did I pass it? Did I fail it? No, guys, look, this is not a passing or failing test. You are given a score. You don't get a grade for the test. I understand that what we mean when we say passing or failing the test, but it's not like that. The institution that you are applying to sets the desired score. In our case, for your particular case, Licenciatura en Idioma Inglés, we are asking 650 points in TOEIC or 520 points in TOEFL. We don't have set a specific score for IELTS because IELTS is not easily available in our country. But if you took IELTS, we would look for some equivalence charts in order to provide you with your score, with your acceptance of the score if it happens, right? And then Licenciatura en Idioma en Educación, they have different scores depending on their program, so that's a little different for them. But for you guys, if you take TOEIC, you only need 650 points. It's a very low score, really. And for TOEFL, you need 520 points. For TOEFL, that's paper-based TOEFL. For IBT, I think it's 80 points what the university is asking for. Now, this is a comparative score chart. This is only for demonstrational purposes. It's not really like that all the time. There are different charts that propose different gradings, different equivalences. So, but this kind of gives you an idea of how scores equate from one test to another test. The highest score you can get in TOEIC, IBT, in TOEIC is 990 points. And you cannot get more because that's the roof of the test. For TOEFL, the paper-based test, it's 677 points. And the TOEFL CBT, which again is not applied anymore, is 300 points. The highest score in TOEFL IBT is 120 points. And for IELTS, as we already discussed, it's 9 points. That's the highest that you can get in this test. So basically, that's what I wanted to talk to you about in these different tests that we may take, and for you to start to get familiarized with this. Now, I just want to tell you one last idea about this test is that you need to mentalize yourself that you got this, okay? You can do it. I know you can do it. You have been preparing for this test throughout your major, right? You have taken different subjects that have allowed you to improve your English, and so I am sure that you're going to do just well. Now, it's normal to feel nervous when facing these tests, right? But you gotta trust your skills. You gotta trust that you can do well on this. And of course, in our subject, we are going to be working on some strategies to make you a better test taker. There are things that we can do to improve our chances to do well, and mostly it has to do with your mindset, okay? So I'm going to stop here, guys, and I hope you are having a great day. Bye.